It's called Let's Talk Money. I'm Haley Zagari, and this is for my second grade class. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I broke up my unit money into 4 lessons that are going to be done throughout the course of the week. So it's going to be Monday through Thursday. And each of these subtopics are going to be a lesson. So Monday's lesson will be money values. Tuesday's lesson will be counting and comparison. Wednesday's lesson will be on counting to $1, and then Thursday's lesson will be on shopping. Okay, so Monday's lesson is going to be on money values. So they are going to learn about solely the values of each coin: pennies, dimes, nickels, and quarters. The standard that's pretty much across the board of all of these lesson plans are going to be number 8 for second grade: solve word problems involving dollar bills, quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. And then, of course, using the correct symbols when writing their answers. The first activity for this lesson is going to be just simply a partner worksheet. They will be handed out a worksheet, and they'll just fill in the corresponding values to whatever they're being asked. For example, a nickel is worth, and they'll put down what a nickel is worth. This, of course, is all occurring right after my lecture, right after explaining each coin. And that is all included in my lesson plan. The second activity for this lesson is going to be a partner cut and paste worksheet. So each pair is going to complete a worksheet where they'll cut and paste each image to the corresponding name or value. In this case, the coins. So they'll cut and paste and put it in the appropriate column, and they'll work with their partner. And as soon as I'll have a timer going, and when time's up, I'll have them stop, and we'll all go over it as a class and see how we did. The third activity for Monday is going to be an online fun game. Students are actually going to get a Chromebook, and it's going to be one Chromebook per pair. And so they'll go on the Chromebook, they'll play the game, and so one student goes, then the other student goes. Whoever gets the higher score, they'll tally under their name. And then when the time goes up, we'll see who won the most games out of the pairs, and then we'll just see how everyone did and kind of discuss it and see if was there any problems completing the game, and just to see if the kids liked it. What do they think about it? The exit ticket for this lesson is just going to be a journal for this day, just because I would want to get a really good idea of how the kids are doing during this lesson. So just 2 to 3 sentences of what they learned, what they did, what they thought, and then if time, they can add a picture on there if they'd like. So Tuesday's lesson is going to be on comparison and counting. So the standard is the same. We have number 8 on there, but I also included another standard because we are also skip counting by 5s and 10s when we're counting dimes and nickels. So the first activity here is going to be called How Much Cards. So everyone's going to be put into groups, and a table is going to get a stack A through I of different value coins on there, just like you see in this photo. And then as a group, they're going to fill in the circles the correct values for the corresponding letter card. And they'll do that as a group. They can ask each other questions, and there's only going to be 1 paper per group. So this is strictly a group activity. The second activity for this lesson is a fun one. So this is where they get to kind of roll a coin dice and put it in their piggy bank, and you're kind of budgeting and calculating and seeing how much you're putting in your piggy bank each time. So everyone's going to have their own sheet where they'll be marking down however much they're adding to their piggy bank. And they'll write how much they have in cents on their mat each time they add a coin. So they'll roll the coin dice, they'll put the coin they rolled into their piggy bank, and then they'll write how much they have on their mat each time they add a coin. And we'll do that until about 10 minutes until the timer goes up, just to see how much did we get in our piggy banks. And then just to see, we'll have a discussion just to see if anyone had any troubles, and also just to get thoughts and feedback from the students. The third activity for this day is going to be the coloring activity. And basically, every student will be working on this, but they also can be asking their partner for help. They can be asking me for help. I'll be walking around the class while they'll be finishing up this. The corresponding value of each of these boxes into this picture. And then it's supposed to be colored and kind of form some type of photo after when they're done. Now, the exit ticket for this day, I'm going to do a Google Forms quiz just to see how they are doing, because I want to see if they're understanding the values of the coins, and then I want to see if they understand how to compare and adding up those small amounts of coins. So I have 2 quarters and 1 nickel. How much do I have? So these are all examples of what could be on that exit ticket. And they'll, of course, have to submit the Google form before leaving class to recess. So this lesson is on counting to 100, to $1, I'm sorry. So after a big discussion on $1, we go over different combinations, how to get $1. We use the same coin on how many of each of the same coin do we need to get $1. So we went over all of this, and this is all into the lesson plan, into my warm-up and introduction. The standards for this lesson are the same. I did add up numbers using strategies based on place value and properties, because as these amounts are getting a little bit bigger, especially with the 2-digit numbers, students can apply that standard when focusing and solving these word problems. So this activity is called Race to $1, and it's a really fun one. Kids are in groups 2 to 3, and all of the supplies are going to be on the desk. The object is to be the first person to get enough coins to trade in for a dollar bill. And it's fine to have extra coins, and the rules are basically on your turn, you roll the dice, and the sum that tells you how much you take from the coin pile. So whatever that sum is how much you take from the coin pile. So you can also use your turn to exchange some of those coins, like 10 pennies for 1 dime or 2 dimes for 1 nickel. You give the dice to the next player, and they follow the same exact rules. And so you play until one player has enough to exchange for the $1. And it's important to remember that you can only exchange or play trade when it's your turn. So watch to make sure you agree with what the other students do. And that is something I will point out and watch for when I walk around the class. The second activity is Coin War. So in this game, students will be placed with one partner, and basically they'll each have their own stack of Coin War cards, and each player will flip the card over, and then they need to see which card has the higher value. So they'll flip it over and look based off the coins that are on those cards. They'll see which one has the higher value, and they'll keep track of which person gets the point. When the timer goes off, this will be like an 8-minute session doing this activity. Then we'll have a class discussion, and of course, go back and see how everyone did with this activity. So money cupcake. So this is another activity. So each table group is going to have these cupcake trays, and inside of them they're going to have different amounts written into it. So it is the students' group job to fill up these cups with the correct amount of coins. So in this case, we are using plastic coins, not real coins, and they'll go ahead and fill it. The first group to fill up their cupcake tray wins. And of course, I have to check and make sure that the amounts inside the cups are correct. So this is just kind of like a fun group, competitive, fun activity. Um, see. And the exit ticket for this. So this one, I actually want to do a journal for this just because there was a lot of collaboration between students. So I just want to get their feedback. I want to know what they learned, what they had trouble with. So that will be their exit ticket, and they will need to complete that before they leave class. So Thursday's lesson. So Thursday is the last day of this lesson, and the standards are still the same. Number 2 and number 8 are still the same. I didn't add or take away anything on here. So after the lecture and various examples in class, we're going to be working in stations today. So Thursday is a station day. So each station, they'll have about like 12, maybe 15 minutes where they will just complete a shopping activity. And so we'll get to that. So the first station. So first station, everyone's going to start with $1. Then they're going to take turns with their partner in selecting a card. If your total goes below 0, then the other player gets $1. Students can refer to the coin charts all around my room because I have lots of visuals for them to refer to when it comes to the money value. The player with the most money at the end of the game wins. So this is a fun, quick little game. So you're either going to add or subtract the amount, whatever the card says. Every time they pick up the card, it's going to tell them to add or subtract from the amount that they have. And they'll go in and do that each time. When the timer goes off, that is when we'll calculate how much money each of us have. So it's just like kind of like a quick little competitive little game there that the kids can have fun interacting with each other. So money palm. So this is another activity, and this is one that if it's not completed during the station, we can complete it the next day if we have time. So students will select random object on a card. So let's say they select a flower. And then on that flower, it'll say a price tag. So it'll say 51 cents. I'm sorry, 43 cents is my example here. So students will put 43 cents coin stickers onto the palm. So not their actual palm, they'll actually have a sheet just like this, and they'll put the stickers of the appropriate amount. It doesn't matter the combination, how many coins of each they need to use. They can choose however they want to do it, as long as it totals up to the correct amount. The third station for this day is Let's Go Shopping. Okay, so this is a game that's definitely going to reinforce the kids to count money. It's honestly one of those games you have to try it out and see if this is going to work with second graders. So print game. So basically this has a game board, and it's made out of cardstock and it's laminated. And basically this is for 2 to 3 players. You'll need 1 die and game pieces for each player and plastic coins. So we're using plastic coins in this one. So when the students land on a food item, so they'll roll the dice and that tells them how many times to go. Now, depending on whatever they land on, what it says, that's what they're going to do. Now, if they land on a food item, they have to count out that much money to the other student. If that student is correct, then that student stays there. But if they're wrong, they have to go way back to the start sign. So it's really, 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 really solely on your counting, and it's mainly focusing on accuracy. So when the students are counting this out to their partner, I'm going to be ensuring them to go slowly. And we also went over certain ways of how to count money. So that is all